I think there are two things that would define, to me, good leadership. One is knowing your end game, so where you want to go to, and at least having some clarity around that for people in the organisation. But I think more importantly than that, because people can have fantastic ideas, and we're not short of ideas, particularly in organisations like universities, but getting there is really the most important aspect, I think, of good leadership. So not only knowing where you want to go, but the execution, the application, in order to put the chess pieces in play so that you get to your end game. Because very often we have some fantastic ideas and never ever execute. And for me, good leadership in that context is the execution of good ideas as well as the envisioning of them. We can find very good analogies in sport and politics. So if you think of two in sport, it would be Brian Cody and Davy Fitzgerald, the two, Kilkenny and Clare hurling managers. I'm a Galway man, so don't need to like them, but certainly I respect them. And I think what's interesting about both of those is that they have a passion for the game. It's all about the execution. They will say they eschew tactics. Now we know they don't, but it's really about playing the game as best you can in both cases. And what's made them successful, particularly Brian Cody, is that sense of again, getting the job done and execution. In politics, I think somebody that I find very interesting is Angela Merkel, because again, it's sometimes unclear where she wants to be or what her vision for Europe is. But I think as she's probably the only European leader currently that we can think about is actually, again, thinking about how to get there. And managing and leading such a large economy as the German economy, I think she's somebody that's particularly good at getting things done. And so across those three, I think if you think about them all, they certainly the two in sport have great passion, but also have a great sense of execution and application to get the job done. Okay. Characteristic of good leadership, I think, is authenticity. And in that case, you're born the way you are, but sometimes finding that can be made. So sometimes you lose your way, your personality is left behind, you have your own face that you need to maintain that may not be your own. So I think very important for me is that sense of authenticity. People respond to that, I think. So being yourself as a leader, I think, is a very important characteristic. And therefore, that's born, but it can be made or brought out or redefined. One is that the sectoral extent to which leadership has developed. So if you're in a particular industry, the knowledge of that industry is particularly important. And we had Alan Ennis from Revlon here recently, and he became very immersed in Revlon's products when he was there. And I think that's become more important. So that sectoral specialism, but the contradiction within that is the ability to change and to change with the trends. I think leadership used to be much more sedate. Now it needs to be much more active and identifying trends, and the ability, again, to respond to those trends, I think, is very important.